Oom Igno?
Oom Hendrik, hoe gaan dit?
Nee, fantasties jou kant.
Goed, goed. Ek wil net kyk, ek sien ek het so 'n gap daar in die venster. Ek wil net kyk watter ene is dit? Of dit daai ene. Want as ons nou lig deurkom, dan is die beginsel mos nou dat mens eers die lig sien. Lyk dit beter.
Ja, ja.
Hey,
En ek sien jy verander jou lig ook sommer daar.
Ja, ek hou, maar dit is lekker reënerig en donker hierson, hè?
Ja, heeltemal.
Hoor hierso, hoe lank wil jy met ek gesels, Hendrik?
Ag, jy kan gemaklik seker 40 minute ek nou, jy weet, want ek het niks anderste as boon behalwe ek sal 'n bietjie 'n intro doen en dan kan jy hom van daar af vat, so ons het die uur, so jy weet, jy kan dit gebruik in die interaksie gebruik met die res van die mense. Jy's Yuri.
En ons kyk maar wat doen die donder weer.
Ek dink jy's gemute, Yuri.
By my begin hy nou ernstig reën.
O, hier is hy nou net winderig op die oomblik, so ja. Gaan dit daar by julle, Yuri? Dink jy's gemute. Ja, sy nou kan ek jou daarom hoor, Yuri.
Okay. Ek sê ek hoor julle praat van wind en weer aan julle kant, so by ons is dit koelerig, maar die son skyn daarom.
Ja, ons het so laat herfsreën die van gisteraand af hier in Bloemfontein en die Johannesburg ouens sê hulle het al gister heeldag reën, so ja, so ons sê nie ons sê definitief nie nee daarvoor nie, maar dit is nie heeltemal normaal vir ons nie. Ons is al amper veronderstel om bietjie in die winter in te gaan en vir julle die reën te gee, so ja.
Ja. Nee, so aan ons kant soek ons dit. Jy weet, ek meen die boere gaan een van die dae gaan hulle begin bou en ons het regtig nog al 'n laat somer gehad vir jaar. Wat nou nice is as jy bergfiets ry en die tipe van goed, maar die ouens wat wil saai,
ja.
Jy weet, hulle wou eintlik dit nou al kon gedoen het. So ons soek 'n bietjie reën aan ons kant. Maar ja, ek meen ons is gewoond daaraan, die laaste paar jaar was dit laat gewees.
Ja. Nee, verseker, maar jy het 'n goeie reënseisoen laas jaar gehad, so as jy weer kan goeie opvolg kry, dan jy weet, behoort dit 'n goeie landboujaar te wees. So.
Ja. Ja, nee, dit is jy weet, ek meen as jy dink waar ons was, dink ek 2 of 3 jaar gelede toe ons gedreig het om uit water uit te loop by die stad Kaapstad en hoe daai sisteem herstel het. Ek weet nie of jy weet hoe Teewaters Kloofdam gelyk het. So 3 jaar terug.
Ja, ek het daar verbygery op 'n stadium. Dit het amper net soos die rivier gelyk wat daar onder lê, jy weet, letterlik, jy weet, so ja.
Wel, ek meen daai dam is gebou, jy weet, in die jare toe ek op hoërskool was en ek het om die draai was ek in die skool Verliesdorp en so ons het altyd as ons terugry Kaap toe dan nee, ek jok, ons het nie daar verby gery nie, maar jy weet, ek onthou waar is toe gebou. En jy weet, wat jy met die droogte gesien het, is die plase wat hulle onteien het om daai dam aan te lê. Destyds het hulle daai plase net geflad. En met die droogte het die watervlakke so gedaal dat jy die wingerd stokke, jy weet, wat destyds nog geplant was, dat daai goed bloot gelê is. So jy moet weet, ek dink die dam was iets soos 10% vol of iets soos dit. En jy weet, ek meen dit is by verre die grootste dam in die stad Kaapstad. En binne 'n seisoen of 2 het hy gegaan van dit na verlede jaar was 100% vol gewees, nee, hy het oorgeloop. So
Nee, natuur is daarom maar net wonderlik.
Ja.
Jy weet, ons het besef ons maar net oor hoe min goed het ons regtig beheer, jy weet so.
ek sê jou dit, Daai is waar. You don't control a thing. Ja.
Ja.
Ingo, ek sien Ingo, jy's gemute. Hoekom is dit so? Wil jy nie praat nie of as
Ek het so lekker raserige reën by op hierdie oomblik by my. Wat ek
wil jy nie deel met ons nie?
Ja.
Kan ons saam met jou bly wees?
Ja.
Wie doen jy die storytelling vandag?
Dis reg, ja.
Okay, ja, dit klink vir my baie interessant. So ek sien uit daarna.
Nee, ek sien self uit om te sien wat uitspring daar.
So praat ou wat voorberei is. Luister, is ons ouens vroeg of is die ander ons laat?
Ek sien ons is amper op tyd, so die ander mense, ons was 'n bietjie vroeg geweest, so die ander kan ons sê is laat, so nee. Of ons is voor hulle hier, kom ons sê so, Yuri, so ja.
Okay. Nee, okay, ek sien dit is ek sien dit is actually ek tog is 12 uur. Ek sien dit is actually 11:30. Yes, okay.
Ja.
Nee, wag.
Hi Alice.
Hendrik, uiteindelik kan ek bietjie by jou weeklikse storie uitkom. Ons is so besig. Ek weet nie van daar by julle nie.
Ek dink is maar die tyd wat ons in lewe op hierdie stadium Alice is ding is maar jy het nog 'n besige lewe die afgelope 18 maande gehad. 8 maande ontological, maar ek glo dit was 'n unbelievable journey geweest.
Ja, dit was baie geleer. In die begin as mens nou begin met die kursus of daai 3 dae ding, dan weet jy nou nie of dit nou regtig vir jou is of nie, maar mense persoonlike groei is tremendous. Ek weet nie of ons Engels of Afrikaans praat nie, so.
Op die oomblik is ons net almal Afrikaans wat hier is, maar ons gooi gewoonlik oor Engels toe sodra die Durban mense bykom.
Ek kan julle my dan mooi hoor, die opvangs okay.
Yes, ja, nee, fine.
Ja, baie goed, dankie Alice.
Okay, nee, dis goed. Ek sit hier so langs die Kruger Nasionale Park, so partykeer is ons internet nie so lekker nie.
Julle ook die afgelope week 'n bietjie reën gehad?
Nog nie hierdie week nie. Nee, ek dink is op pad.
So ek dink dis half Louis het nogal gesê van 'n Merwe het gesê nogal hy gaan ons join en Susan Mercer het gesê so, maar kom ons kyk, ek sien Jacques Retief het nou gesê hy is ongelukkig vasgebrand, hy gaan nie van
Hendrik,
dag maak ek die chart wat gewoonlik bywoon is na
Alice,
nou is jy daar.
Ja, ek is hierso, maar jy hak vas aan my kant. Ek's net bang as my bandwydte, maar die ander lyk vir my reg. Yuri, hak Hendrik by jou ook vas of nie?
Man, 1 of 2 keer maar net in die begin van die sin wil ek amper sê. Ek weet nie, dalk is dit
Hy hak by my ook vas.
Okay. Kom ons try gou dan so te maak.
There we go. It's already sounding better, Hendrik.
Okay, fine, thanks. Yeah, so Louis, also welcome to you, and Waumi, all the way from Kenya. So really a privilege to have you with us today. So yeah, nice to have you. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Also very happy to join this afternoon on this side of the world.
Fantastic. So thanks for everybody for joining in. And then Igno is part of our conversations normally on the last Friday of the month, but luckily today he'll share a few thoughts with us. But perhaps as a background, specifically why my curiosity went the way to some of the work that Igno have done. I again came across work that Sarah Nickham and Morningstar did some time ago, where they looked at what is the main things that help clients to become financially well. And the two key reasons for that, what they came up was to say is that the time that clients, the time horizon where what clients think, so the longer that clients can think about a dream or goals in the future and be clear around those goals, the bigger the chances is that clients will stay with their financial plans. And they found that some of those clients were up to 40 times more successful financially if they can think long term, because then and the big thing is that links then to the second point, which is the ability, which a lot of actually all the study shows us that the ability around locus of control, and locus of control for this purpose of financial wellness is the ability to stay and plan for things that could derail one's financial plans, and then take financial decisions to keep on focusing on one's long-term financial commitment. So that then started me thinking about, but how can we then help clients if we see such a lot of clients, and I see even in when I engage with clients, it's sometimes difficult to look beyond the now, the pressure of financial stress in the moment. How do I get my client to start thinking long term? And the second, one of the other points that came out of the study is clients need to be really vividly clear on that long-term goals. It's not, I want to retire at 65 and I want a 75% replacement ratio of my retirement. They must be really clear that it must be something like, I want to go and stay in this retirement village in a 2-bedroom house there. I want to spend time with my grandchildren in this and this way. And the clearer clients could be around that, the more successful they were actually. And then about, what was it, 2 weeks ago, there was that podcast with George Kinder in terms of his process. And it just, again, the whole concept he talks about, after having this vision exercise with your customer, then engaging in terms of getting the client excited, and he calls it lightening the torch. And so it's lighting the fire, like in the old days where they ran with the torch in terms of the Olympics, is so that your clients can be excited about those dreams and attaining that, but with the balance also having a decent and well-lived life now. And that then brought me to the thinking from an ontological coaching perspective. It will then be, is how do we use language so that clients can get to clear declarations, but also on the other side is, how do we use positive moods for our clients, because we need that emotion and moods to support our clients, to make them excited in terms of where we want to go. And then I thought about, how do we engage clients with their whole being so that they can actually feel see where they are going. And that then brought me, and myself and Igno had a lot of discussions around this. And I know he does this wonderful work also with his photography and using photos, is how can we use that? Because sometimes I think we must get our clients as Josh Kinder actually calls it, is that first phase you must, and if we think about the isn't dream process also, you must get your client not to think without any judgments, without anything's about I can't do it, I will one day do it. Is we want to get them to really dream and make those dreams big and clear and vivid, and then we can support them through our financial planning process. And that's where I then had a discussion with Igno, and he said no, he's in and he'll come, and thanks very much for that, Igno. And over to you, my friend. Marguerite, also welcome.
Thanks, Hendrik, and welcome everybody. And we've all got money stories, don't we? And pictures that we think that money can buy sometimes. And for some, it's a holiday, and for some, it's a holiday home. It all depends on your imagination and your belief system. So I'm going to start off with a quick warm up, and I just want one of you to volunteer. You can just raise your hand to have a conversation with me. And the rest will be audience. So anyone would like to put up a hand? And absolutely. You look like you want to put up your hand voluntarily. Can you all hear me? Oh.
I'll volunteer for you, Igno.
Okay, I had a bit of a lag there. Can you hear me easier now, Alice?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so you can be Alice for the moment, and I will be Money, and we're going to have a conversation. So you can start talking to me.
Okay. I've always sort of made myself a vision board. So and eventually you do get to so do you want me to
can you all hear Alice clearly? Because she spoke about a vision board. Am I still clear? Let me just check. Louis, you say I'm still coming through okay?
Yeah.
Would you mind hopping in, Louis, so that we don't Alice's band?
Couldn't you hear me?
Yeah, I think let's be a bit less tough on Alice's bandwidth. Will you join, Louis?
Sure, I'm happy.
You'll be Louis, I'll be Money, and you can chat to me about anything. So just for a minute or so.
Great. Good afternoon, Money. How's it going?
Hello, Louis. As always, I'm in the flow.
Great. Thanks for showing up today. It's been a while.
I always show up when people want me to or allow me to. So thanks for allowing me.
Yeah, so true. It's interesting that you show up now because there's some big changes in life happening, which might mean that you might be a little bit tighter in the future.
Yeah. Is there any way I can assist you so I don't like to be that tight and that I'm not that tight? Can we cooperate here in a way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think by not serving you and serving the kind of ideal life that I want to create for my family, it would be great if you could just show up by the manner of work that I'm doing at the moment.
I would love to show up because I love taking care of families. That's part of the reason that I came into being. And so is there any way you can help me to show up more and be more present in your life and for your family?
Absolutely. I think by taking roadblocks away for other people, the benefit has been that Money shows up, or that you show up, as a side benefit, not necessarily the main focus. So I think just continuing on that road.
I always arrive where people serve people. And I so appreciate you serving others so that I can come to you.
Thank you for that, Manny.
Okay, right. So that's a quick conversation. And that's character as part of a story. And I'm not sure whether there was any learning for you. You can just maybe in the text chat give me a why if there was learning and any if there was no learning. And not only Louis, anyone else who had the experience. But you might have seen that, money comes when you serve. You might have seen that money is in flow. It's your choice whether you allow money in or not. It's your choice whether you have a dream and direct the money. Hendrik was talking about clarity. And it's a very interesting conversation to have with customers and family members. I remember having this conversation with a niece of mine, and she said, "Why are you always running away from me?" And I said, "I never run away. You push me away. You give me away, you know." And so that's part of that. I see Hendrik says he's learned something. Anyone else, if you found the text chat, you can just, if you're quiet, I assume it's a no, that you haven't learned. So I'll try and expand on the process. On my side, I see the chat. And then I'd like to go into another use of story. And I'm quickly going to share a story with you. And then we'll move into the pictures. But there's a story, and I just want some clarity. Can you just all quickly put up your hand so I see whether there's lag with anyone? Okay, Hendrik's there, Wahomi's there, Louis, so you can all hear me clearly. Right, so there's a story about this big water hole, and a group of tortoises live there. I'm not sure, have you shared this story before, Hendrik, on one of the sessions? No. Okay. So these tortoises live around the water. Oh, it's a wonderful. It's their comfort zone. They're close to the water, and they've got this wonderful colony, and they're friends. And one day, an eagle swoops down and grabs one of these tortoises and pushes him, takes him right up into the air. The eagle takes the tortoise, and he sees, whoa! But there's not only the water hole. There are fields. It's like living close to Alice. It's a national park. There are towns and townships, there are cities, there are countries, there are continents, and he goes higher to the curvature of the earth, and the eagle sees, the tortoise sees all these things, and then the eagle goes down and he puts him down in the colony again. And this tortoise immediately calls all the other tortoises. He says, "I've got to share this with you." They have a meeting, as tortoises do, as humans do. "I've got this vision. I had this vision. I need to share it with you." And all the tortoises come together, and he tells them, he says, "Can you believe it? There's more than this water hole. There's more than what we have. There are towns and townships. There are cities. There's oceans. And one by one, they listen and they say, "Shame. The eagle has thrown him down to, he must have fallen on his head when he landed." Eventually, and one by one they leave, and no one's left. Until eventually, he stands there and he feels very sad, but one small tortoise comes up to him and he says, "Can you tell me where I can find that eagle?" And that's the story. Now, what I would like to hear from you is, as a financial advisor or financial coach, who do you think you are in that little tortoise landscape? You can just put that in the text chat, or if you'd want to unmute because something profound came up, you can just unmute, share.
For me, it's definitely the eagle.
Yuri, I see you've unmuted. Would you like to share?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Igno, just repeat your question. Yeah, jy het weggeraak, on my side when you posed the question. I can't hear you.
The question is, who do you think you are in the story? The eagle, the tortoise, the little tortoise? Can the others hear me? Connection.
Well, the way you put the story, the eagle is the most attractive one to identify with. I hope that we don't act as though we, the tortoise. I think that's maybe the risk, you know, that you see yourself as all-knowing, etc., but it might not be an accurate assessment of yourself. So, you know, on my side, I'm careful because, yeah, I've bought into this whole idea of, you know, biases that we run around with, in terms of which we think of ourselves as probably smarter than we really are. So, you know, I'm always careful, you know, not to fall into that trap, and rather, you know, maybe ask, like the little tortoise, listen, where's this eagle that can show me more?
I see, and I see Louis got tortoise, the little tortoise, Wahomie, and Alice has got eagle, and Marguerite says she'd love to be the eagle, but it mix. I think we all a bit of both, aren't we? Of all, we all need to be the little tortoise who wants to know more. We all need to be the big tortoise who want to share. We all need to be the eagle to expand horizons, and those kinds of things. Just quickly, I just want to check my bandwidth. If you put up your hands, whether you see me, whether you hear me, I just want to check what the lag is. Okay, Marguerite, we're there. Right, so, and the interesting thing is there are so many interpretations, because when we enter the world of story, we can't be wrong. My friend Dorian Haroff always says he used to be a university lecturer, but he got tired of marking answers, marking text to which he knew the answers, and setting papers to which he knew the answers. When we work with story, we don't know the answers. So when we work with the life stories of clients, we don't know the answers. Neither do the clients. We speculate together, and we use financial needs analyses to see if we can find where they are and take them to where they want to be. But a big challenge is we often don't know where we want to be. And this is where I'd like to maybe, Hendrik, I'm going to see if I can share screen. It seems like I've got access, so I'm not sure whether you can see my screen over there. If someone, can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Right, Hendrik says he can see it, so I'm gonna drag myself. So I would like to know, I'm going to ask once again a volunteer, and Marguerite, would you mind volunteering? I'm not sure how your bandwidth is, if you're okay with that. You can just give me a nod, or if you're a bit cautious, just say no. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, and this is how we can use pictures, and I'll tell you a bit more about the photography coaching in a bit, but I'm going to ask you to consider any challenge. Now, you might become a fictional character, so you don't have to be Marguerite right now, but if there's a challenge you have in your life or business right now, I want to give you 3 solutions to that. But I would like you to share the challenge, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show 3 pictures, and each of us will have to write down 3 solutions. So, and then we will share the solutions in the top solution. But what's the challenge that you'd like us to address? Let's say you're a client of Marguerite's.
Okay, a challenge could be how to save money more consistently.
How to save money more consistently. Right. Now, I want all of you, you are that client now. You want to save money more consistently. You all got it? You can just give me a thumbs up. I can see, I love that we're all on camera. So many times these days, people have not got their cameras on. There you go. Okay, so you all want to save money more consistently. I'm going to show you 3 ways in which you can save money more consistently. And if you have a pen, write this down. If you've got a brilliant memory, take this down. Marguerite and I are now going to give you 3 ways that is the way you believe you can save money more consistently. So you're going to see way number 1 right now on your screen. And you need to use that picture and say how that tells you or how that teaches you to save money more consistently. You don't say anything right now. Just take a note of how this picture teaches you about saving money more consistently. Right. Have you written down or got something? It could be anything from you don't want to travel gravel roads all your life, so you want to stay aware of the fact that you've got a good health and that it needs to be maintained. Okay, have you all got one thing about that picture? And I'm going to go a bit further because we don't have time, and this is often a day-long workshop. But I want you to also look there. You'll see on the picture there in the back, there are trees indicating autumn is coming. So there is something about the seasons in the consistency which you need to be aware of. So if you want to save money, more consistency, yes, there might be the gravel road, there might be the gate, and there might be closing the gate because that might be a floodgate. There might be the fact that it's downhill and you'd rather have a straight and narrow road, but there's an autumn awaiting. There's clouds, so there will be rain, there might be money coming in. So the question would be, how do I balance all those aspects? So I'm just guiding you as to the kind of things that comes up. So that's the first one. So you've got one. For me, I'll also put one down for myself and say, I want to save money more consistently. So when it rains, I don't want to waste it immediately because autumn's coming. Winter's after autumn. So I need to be aware that although I have an income now, I might not have it tomorrow. So that will force me to say, whoa, save more consistently. But that's just me going through the first one. So that's the first tip. You've gotten your own tip as Marguerite and my customers. And now Marguerite says, okay, I've got it. But there's something even more spectacular that can assist you in saving money more consistently. And here it is. Wow. Can this not save you and incredibly ensure that you save money more consistently? And I want you to figure out why this tells you that. Have a look at the picture. Why does this picture and how does this picture teach you about saving money more consistently? Right. And you've all got something. See, you're writing still, so I'm just giving a bit more time. And then the third picture, this is the third way in which you can save money more consistently. Just have a look at that. Absolutely a clue as to how you can save money more consistently sits in that picture. Actually, it motivates you to save money more consistently. Why? What do you see? Right, so we've looked at three pictures that that you yourself interpreted. On the first one, I did a bit of interpretation just to tell you, but I would just like you to randomly, you can choose text chat or unmute. Maybe if just for the sake of order, if you put up your hand, I can give you an opportunity to speak. So I'm not sure whether anyone would like to say, if we go to the first picture, what came out for you about this picture? Louis, I see you nodding in your head. Would you mind sharing what came up for you about this picture?
Sure. So the part that's most attractive for me is actually that gravel road. So for me, it's, you know, spend time trail running instead of more expensive entertainment.
And there's so much in that because it tells you about trail running. It tells you about living your passion and not being sold on other people's passions. Do what you love. But so often we go out and do what markets tell us. I mean, Standard Bank sends a magazine to tell you how to use your credit card to go overseas. And if you're like me, you don't even like flying. So they tell you this is what a holiday is, but a holiday could be trail running. So anyone else who'd like to share on this picture before we move to the next one? I just want you to have a kind of awareness there. Yes, Wahome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful picture, open gate, open country. I see a lot of opportunities. I see a lot of seasons. If you don't close the gate, all the cows. It looks like countryside or animals who fly away. So I think open country presents many opportunities. We cannot be able to take advantage of these opportunities if we don't have our savings. And if we don't close the gate, even what we have will actually fly out. Thank you.
Yay, Wahome, thank you. And Alice, I'm going to come to you now. And when you have this with a client, you can also ask them, well, the gate is open and you can close it so it can stay inside. But what if more comes into the gate? So how do you open the gate to receive, but close the gate to keep? And that becomes a question when you consider, what was that old one, the richest man in Babylon, where he said, if you don't have enough money, you need to make more. So how do I open the gate, but not allow the gate to open from the wrong side and things come out? Alice, you wanted to share something. Sorry. Yes. Thanks, Wahome.
I also use the open gate as keep an open mind for everything you want to do. And when you spoke about the seasons, to where you on your life path going forward. So I also was thinking of that. Yeah, and that was my thoughts.
Right. Thank you so much. It's so interesting how differently we think about the same picture. Yeah, we have an open mind. We have open territory with Wahome. We have Louis talking about trail running. And what's nice about pictures is it does what we call triangulating. This is not about Louis or Wahome or Ellis. If you're the client on the other side, this is about looking at the picture and saying what you see. So there's a kind of safety because the picture forces you to see something, and therefore I can talk about it because it's safe. That's what I see in the picture. And as I say with stories, you can never be wrong. And I'm going to quickly go to this one, and I'd love to hear whether anyone had something about how to consistently save more money based on this picture. And yeah, anyone who'd like to just put up your hand and share, or you can just say, Yuri, yes.
I thought, it tells me if you save enough money consistently, one day you'll be able to walk on water.
You save enough money consistently, you'll be able to walk on water. Or
That's
you
what
have
this guy
to have,
does. Huh?
yeah. And fantastic. And you can also now bring the walk on water metaphor and say, okay, why would you like to walk on water? And what does it mean to walk on water? So when you take that to your clients, you go deeper. So walking on water is very much a faith. And how much faith do you have in yourself that you will be able to consistently save money? Because if you don't believe you can, we need to work on your belief system. We don't need to work on your actions and attitude. We need to work on your beliefs. And that's a whole new conversation in terms of the coaching. Anyone else? I love the walk on water metaphor. Yes, Louis.
So for me, the part that resonated the most was kind of savoring the moment. Having a 3-month-old baby at home, it's kind of spending time, with your family, but also enjoying it. And then the flip side of that is being really selective in terms of how you spend your time outside of those, moments that you get to share with your family.
You should be trail running in those moments. It seems like you're trail running, dummy running in the house and trail running outside. So yes, and that wonderful presence that you talk about. And how are we present? Because even with people eating, you sometimes with COVID, we overeat because we're not present. We don't realize how much we stuff in as we sit behind our computers instead of saying, no, when I eat and I feel and I pray. When I spend money, how present am I in the spending? Or do I just grab the stuff off the shelves? And if I want to save consistently, I can save every time I go to the supermarket by maybe being more consistent and present, saying this is what I want to buy. Because what steals away our presence is obviously the stuff we see on the shelves. That robs us of our focus. And then the last one, the last one for this section, Marguerite, I just want to check, maybe we're still with your question, I hope. So anyone who had a profound idea on this one? Well, let me rather say an idea on this one. Yeah, Alice, you unmuted. Please go.
Just on the previous slide, I had I used the bridges to save consistently, because sometimes we have bridges that we need to cross, and if we save consistently, we've empowered ourselves to actually cross the bridges and keep on saving. And on the last picture, I've got growth. And the mist I've used, as we can't always see the growth immediately, but that was the picture that's what I got from the picture.
Right, a growth, and growth is obviously interesting, because how much do I invest in my growth financially? How much do I grow my financial situation? In other words, I physically invest money in investments. But because when I grow, or as a person, as a human being, and I go trial running, I have to pay for the trial running, and I might take water or buy water there. And consistent savings often means saving on the little things. You know, do you take your own water, or you take cash and buy water, and then you just buy 10 Rand, and that 10 Rand could have worked for you, but now it's not, because you didn't take water from home. It's all about planning. And very often, we do huge coaching and financial planning, but people don't plan the day-to-day spend. So you know that book by, I think it's David Bach, about the cappuccino, the latte factor. He talks about how you add latte, and you could have had the coffee at home, but you have the coffee and you add extra, extra cream or whatever. And if it's $1 a day that you waste on water or coffee or whatever, it's $30. And then you start doing the maths as to how much you're losing because you're not investing. It's not working for you. So I'm not sure. This is one way in which we use pictures. So just as a quick check-in, if you could just let me know in the text chat, does this still make sense? I don't want to give you feedback right at the end, ask your feedback, and then you say, Igno, it made no sense to me at all. then we've wasted the time. Otherwise, we can just quickly change track if we go here. Right, Alice says, wonderful. Okay, good. As long as. So just as a quick background to where this sits, Hendrik will know, and I'd love to talk about failing and failing forward, because John Maxwell often talks about failing forward. And we often learn that we need to fail fast, in terms of what we do, so that it doesn't hurt others. If we fail slowly, it's often because we procrastinate and we don't get things done. So 2 years ago, I always have one creative project, and I created a game that teaches photography called Photo Fanatics. And what it was a board game where you got 5 pictures and then 32 principles, and you had to say, okay, the rule of third. And then you had to look through your pictures and see, okay, which one of us have the best example of the rule of thirds? And you could then motivate by, and you would learn by defending a picture. But that didn't work so well, but there was a lot of space left. And what happened was I then used some, and I created these business coaching cards, which is, the sort of these. And you take out any card, and it asks you about your business, and then you have to choose 3 pictures. So and then the 3 pictures would bring you the answers, and that became a better seller than the photography, which was initially done. But I had to change track. I had to think completely differently. So, and now I'm going to challenge you to do exactly that. I want you to consider your business right now as it stands. No matter whether you're a financial coach or you're doing something else, or you're putting yourself in the position of a client, right? So I'm going to give you 3 ways in which you're going to reinvent your business, right? 3 totally new ways to look at your business. And all you need to do, and so all I want you to do right now is to decide what part of your business. Are you going to look at your coaching business? Are you going to look at your the family that you run? Would you like to do that? Because what's interesting, we always learn from Covey about paradigm shifts. And we always hear that we must think new and innovative. And Tom Peters talks about reimagine and all those things. But how much time do you have in your diary to reimagine? Just consider that. Do you, if I look at your diary right now, is there a 5 or 10 minute spot where you say reimagine? Is there a 5 or 10 minute spot in your client's diary where they have to reimagine their financial life? Because that's what they need to come and do with you. They have to share and know, but then they have to tell you how they imagine the future. Then you look at their financial needs and you say, well, we have to reimagine. We would love for you to create this future, but obviously we've got to change track or plan. We've got to save more if this is what you'd like to do. Does that make sense? You can just show thumbs up or so. So you're going to reimagine your business or your role, maybe as a father of a 3-month-old, or, you know, as a business owner. And all I want you to do is, there must be something that you can do differently next week. And I want you to know what that is based on this picture. So you've got this picture, and this will show you what you will do differently to turn your business towards success next week. It might be turnaround, but it must be a paradigm shift. So you might say, for instance, that I am not focused. And if you look at this picture, the trees all aligned to the skies. For, you know, it might mean that I need to align everything, my family, my balance, my fitness, my health, my wealth. I need to align all that so that I have more clarity in the end, which is reaching for the sky. So you could use that. But some of you might say, I'm going to ignore the pine needles. Some of you might say there's growth here and I haven't done anything about personal growth. And so anything else that comes up, please, as you look at it, just share what comes up for you. Wahumi, anything coming up for you there that you see that I haven't mentioned?
It's the layout is natural, but I can see the serious order in the way the trees are.
Order.
I need to be a bit organized, you know, get order in the things that I do.
Yes, and what's interesting, the moment you say that and you imagine the order, you need to say, what do I need to order and where do I put that in my diary Monday? Even if it's 10 minutes of, I'm going to do this to create more order. Even if it's saying right now, you know what, I'm going to reimagine or imagine my days every morning for 10 minutes to create order in my day. Otherwise, they happen by default and not by design. Anyone else would like to add to what Wahome is saying? Ignore noise, says Alice. Hendrik says, get out of the woods. So how do you get out of the woods? And the really interesting thing is, what are the paths that will lead you out of the woods? And if you talk to a client about that and they want to get out of the woods, what scares them about the woods? Woods to me, Hendrik, would be my slippies, my little, these things that come along, you know, and I don't file them. So I've got this mess of slips and stuff and tacks and those kinds of things. Getting out of the woods happens step by step. And maybe the question is, what's the path out of the woods? Working on your annual tax 10 minutes per week until you get to the annual tax. And it's not a 2 days procrastination and 2 hours affair. Lie on your back and take a breather, says Louis. And I think so important, hey, the power of that book by Carl Honorak about going slow and the whole mindfulness trend that we all have. Our customers don't think about their money. We don't think about our businesses because we're so busy working in our businesses that we have very little time working on our businesses. And to stand back and as Yuri says, to lie on your back, Louis says, to lie on your back and take a breather is this, you know, I love David White, by the way, what he says, if you're in a forest and you're lost, stay calm. The forest is not lost. And I think Ken Robinson said it in his TED talk as well. So often when we get into the forest, we get frantic and we start running in circles and we get busy and we get so occupied with our own busyness instead of our own business. And then Yuri, move out of the shade into the light, and your light, what you perceive to be. If a customer says that to you, what's the light for you? For you, it might be trial running. For someone else, it might be bird watching. So, and how much time do you spend in the light? And how much, what does light mean in your business? If you want to change the whole business, what does that mean? And I see here Now I need to get that down from you, Louis. You've given us the dext.com. I'll have a look there for the slippies. I think I've heard about that at one of our sessions. So we'll have a look. All of you can look in the text chat, and maybe Louis can tell us a bit. So that's the one way to turn your business around. Here's another way to turn your business around. And just have a quick look and say, okay, you need to turn your business around. Let's say I'm going to give you the challenge. You've been spending more than what you've earned for the past 2 months, and it's not your fault. The car has broken down and things have gone wrong. What does this picture teach you about approaching that challenge? And then if anyone would like to say, I'm not going to introduce because I'd love to hear what comes up for you. You can either, Alice.
I've got make it colourful and diversify.
Diversify, yes. And how would you diversify?
Bringing, like keeping a back door open. So like you've done with your photography, you couldn't make money on the one side, so you changed your way of marketing your or using your photos. So that's how I will diversify. With COVID, doing financial planning and reviews on video instead of in person, and diversify like that.
Okay,
and use, like you're doing, use more photos, make it more colorful.
Awesome. And Alice, I could take this, and all of you are probably aware of that 5 whys question. So the moment that Alice says something to me like she would like to diversify, I could now go into the conversation, why or how would you like to diversify? She says, like I did with the photos. And my question would obviously be, okay, what does that mean to you in your business? What does diversification mean? It might mean getting to know more products. And then I say, okay, which products would you like to know more of and why? Why do you think they will sell? And then she tells me about those products, and I obviously go and she says, I would like to know more about retirement, but why would you think retirement products would sell better at the moment than at other times? And then she would say, probably it's difficult because, you know, it's usually end of February. But what can you do to sell more retirement products in fall by using the metaphor of autumn and telling people, you know, sort of, let's consider autumn. And now it becomes something where you say, oh, wow, okay, I can do a whole series on autumn. Autumn's coming. I can put nice pictures out and say to people, well, autumn's here. It's at that time. What about the autumn of your life? And now I start working with that. I hope that makes sense. So pictures helps us make associations. And I just quickly want to hop back to the text chat to share what Yuri says. It's not all darkness, and create the right environment in which to flower. And that question would be, what's the environment? What does your current environment look like? Does it support what you do? If not, how do you make it support? Because very often we're at home and our customers are at home. How's the environment supporting them? If you know, we once, Hendrik will know this, our offices was in a shopping mall. That was not very good for me because there was a bookshop in the shopping mall. So I had to, you know, sort of the environment did not support my savings. It supported my reading. And but at some stage you have to save in order to stay alive, you know, and create the right environment. Start with gratitude and regroup from there. Show your color in the world. That means your brand, and who you are and what you stand for. And amplify the spark in the business. And Wahumi, I would like to go into, okay, what would be the spark? What's the thing that motivated you initially? So Hendrik, I'm very aware that I've gone for 45 minutes now. So I just want to check if you guys are okay if we do another few minutes. Does it still make sense? I see nods. I think Louis run because there was a crying baby in his house, so he can't nod. He's just got his profile picture up now. He's probably doing this or adding the bottle over there. So something else which is really interesting, and yeah, what I'd like to do is I'm going to ask another volunteer, but this must be a nice Marguerite or Wahumi, would any of you like to go with me on this one? Or Yuri, it's going to be a very interesting, quick conversation. We're going to use words again, not pictures. Who'd like? I see both of them sits there wondering, should I or shouldn't I?
Yeah, I'm game. We can go.
Okay, well done. Well, so what I'm going to do now, and this comes from improv drama theater, which I'm doing a course on. And all I'd like to do is, so often we've got many thoughts in our heads, and what you and I are now going to do very quickly is we're going to tell a story about money. But this is how it's going to work. It must be short sentences, but I will start my sentence with any letter of the alphabet. I might say, for instance, M for money. So money is good. But your next sentence must start with an N, because we must go with the alphabet now. So you're going to say, no, money is not good. This happened to me. Then I've got to start with O, but, so I'm going to start with G, and I'm going to say, gee, Wahumi, I've had so much problem with money these days. Is there any way you can help me?
Help is what you're going to get from me on money issues.
I understand, and I'm so glad that you're there to care for me. And what would be the first thing that you'd suggest I do?
Just let me know what is at the top of your mind.
Knowledge is important, so I'm glad you're talking about that. It's money knowledge that I think worries me.
Individually, everybody has a knowledge area where they could actually benefit.
My, I never knew that. And what do you think mine would be, and where do I find it?
The needs and the issues around what you're grappling with.
Oh.
Perfect. Now we're heading somewhere.
Okay, well done. Well done. And so what that does is it allows you to we played around, but the words that came through was knowledge, was, sort of, and you start thinking about, what do I have about that? The reason why it's safe is because we know that we were playing, but what surfaces from underneath when you play with people is much more, our clients, when we see them, they always have barriers. I don't like to talk about my budget with a financial advisor. I'm even afraid to talk about it with my wife, because then she knows how I spend time on books and camera equipment. Now I've got to go to a financial advisor, and very often the financial coach says, bring your spouse, because we're going to look at the family's vision. I don't want the family to know that I am part of the blocking of their vision because of my personal vision. And but when we come into play, we start talking about how do we work with budget, for instance. Can have that conversation, and how do I address that? Because I want to be open. And once you get to a question like that, how do you address that? To when you have two couples sitting in front of you, to keep the space safe, and for you to understand, and for them to understand, and not have a fight in your office because of their differences. And it's, once again, you use a picture and you say, okay, for myself, how does this picture, and I understand, whoa, you know what? These two people are not on the same horse. A couple might be different. So before I coach, I might ask them, listen, how do you manage your money? Is it separate? Because I'm going to have a separate conversation rather than put the two of you together in the same room and talk about this, because that's their way, not my way. And I might say, no, but if you combine, it's so much better. But I need to listen to them. That's the role of coaching, isn't it? To understand. So all of a sudden, the two horses give me that indication. And no one might be in front of another. And I can have that conversation. And all of a sudden, this reminds me of a horse cart. And say, okay, you're still two horses, but you're pulling a cart. And how can you best, use your money, your combined monies, to pull the cart forward, although you don't share the accounts? I'm just using a random example here, but I hope it makes some kind of, that's what stories do. I didn't even think about this example. And then it becomes so nice, because you've got kids on the cart. You've got a 3-month-old baby on that cart, and that cart has to move forward, and it has to be an even road. And how do you combine? Because that now leads to vision. Because if you ask someone, what's your vision? People often don't know. But if they start realizing, well, I've got money and I'm using it, and am I using it towards something? Whoa, wait a minute, what's on the wagon? And now you ask them what's on the wagon, and that brings their vision. I hope that makes some sense. And then you as a coach for yourself as well, to sit beforehand and say, okay, how do I approach this? 3 things I need to remember as a coach. And I'm just going to take you very quickly and through, let's say it's just before a coaching session. I'm going to see a CEO of a company, and I'm quite concerned because I have never worked with such big companies. It's a multinational, the CEO's coming. So I'm just going to randomly look, and the first picture that says, okay, you have to, it's big waves. Big waves is for great surfers. So today I'm going to be a great surfer. I'm going to not be smooth in the Danny DeVito car salesman sense. I'm going to be smooth. I'm going to be mindful. I'm going to be present. And smoothness means I'm going to listen carefully at what this person says. I'm going to ride with the waves. So it's not about me. It's about them. I feel calmer. Then secondly, I look at the next picture that comes up and say, okay, well, I need to have my energy and manage my energy properly. I need to ask questions, be calm, and not when he says, yes, go all excited. I need to say, no, I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to be myself. And then the third question is, you know what? I'm qualified. I'm the most qualified person to do this. I got this person. They're coming to see me. So these 3 pictures have actually calmed me down and said, well, Igno, you are qualified to do this. You can manage your energy, and it's about the big waves, and you're a surfer. And if you're a surfer, it's about the big wave. All of a sudden, I feel differently about seeing this client because I've just spoken to myself about this. So you can use it to build your own confidence. And people often ask me, what kind of pictures? Any pictures. You can take in. We used to have vision boards, and there's so much written about vision boards. For me, pictures are so much more powerful in terms of enhancing our stories, but not only enhancing, but bringing our stories to us. That's what they often do. Whoa, I think we're on 25 past, but so I'd like to hear if there are any questions or comments from your side, because so often with stories, people have got a story or a comment which is so wise that I then miss it if I talk too long. So I'm just going to go around the room as you sit in front of me and just ask any question or comment. If no comment, fine. So Yuri, we can start with you. Any wisdom?
I just want to, comment on using this as a means to generate your conversations. I think it's incredibly innovative, and I mean that's my main takeaway from this. I just find it extremely valuable. Using that as a tool, to get a discussion that often is difficult into an environment where it can be non-threatening. So that to me is fantastic. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Yuri. Yeah, thank you. The triangulation, the pictures make it safe. Alice?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's a wonderful concept. I will definitely also use it going forward. As Yuri said, it can help open conversation. That because people don't always want to discuss their vision or their future. So I think this is will be very helpful. Thank you very much for sharing.
No, they're great conversation starters. And you even ask people sometimes to bring 3 pictures along as to what their dreams, what signifies their dreams. And you have spouses coming, and the one says, but I didn't know that was part of your dream. And the kids eventually. Wahome?
Brilliant. Thank you. That's very, very brilliant. Money is very personal. People tend to close. This is a big discussion opener, and also helps people to ease and talk beyond what they are holding back. Thank you.
Thanks, Wahome. Yes, I love those figures behind you. Marguerite?
I love the idea of asking clients to bring pictures that are relevant to them along. I think that could be incredibly useful. And I'm definitely going to start playing improv games and money conversation games with our kids and my husband.
And the millennials will tell you they've got their dreams on Pinterest. And it's fascinating to me that financial advisors are not asking to say, where's your Pinterest board with your dreams so that we can talk about that. We've got a new generation. We've got to tap into their world. Louis.
Thank you, Igno. That was brilliant. I think one thing that it resonates with me is in the Lifeline personal growth courses, they give you a brown paper bag and they say add pictures to the front of the bag that you're willing to share with the rest of the team, but inside of the bag add things that you're not yet ready to share. So it'll be interesting to see how your relationship with clients evolve, how they get ready to share the things that might be inside the bag.
Wow, that's just absolutely stunning. I love that idea. It's brilliant. I will give you credit when I use it next time.
It's Lifeline. That's not me, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And then Hendrik, I'm just going to come back to you to round up and share maybe.
Yeah, so again, Igno, it was just wonderful again, just to stimulate one's thinking, just working again with the concepts of story and using the photos to create the story and create that safety for clients. So thanks for sharing, and thanks for your time also, and your contribution. So that was great. But also then from my side, thanks Yuri, Alice, Waume, Margaret and Louis for attending, because you made it possible for us again just to share with each other some ideas that we can again take and go and apply in our lives. So thanks a mil for that. So thanks a mil, Igno, but also for all of you for your contribution.
Thank you for the invite, Hendrik.
Yeah. Thanks, and have an awesome month. Until next month, all of the best for your businesses.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the merry month of May.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.